From streamers facing 10-year jail sentences to the ultimate rizz master, also known as the African Diddy, or the final boss of infidelity, November 2024 has undoubtedly been a wild month on the internet, and we all watched it go down. So before this month ends and we move into the month of December for the Christmas festivities, I would like for us to revisit some of the most iconic and biggest news that broke the internet in November 2024. This list is definitely not exhaustive, so I would encourage you to drop in the comments some of the big news that I wasn't able to cover in this video. But before we revisit some of these moments that will forever live in infamy, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn post notifications on so you'll be notified when I post another video. Once again, my name is Francis OF. Now sit back, relax, and let us revisit some of the moments that shaped internet discourse in November 2024. Let's start with something light, more of an appetizer, something that's going to whet your appetite for the main course of this video. We begin with one of YouTube's darlings going rogue. Let's revisit the Marques Brownlee situation. MKBHD, or Marques Brownlee, is one of the biggest tech reviewers and creators on YouTube, with almost 20 million followers on the platform. And his whole brand is about delivering quality content about product reviews and painting a squeaky clean image of himself and his brand. But recently, a few holes are being poked into that image. One of the biggest controversies he has been in this year was when he released his $50 wallpaper app, which his audience and people on the internet did not understand. But on November 11th, Marques posted a video that was going to put him at the center of controversy. This wasn't any video outside the boundary of what he normally does on his channel. It was a 10-minute video sponsored by DJI, talking about their new Cosmo Camera 5. He talked about the capabilities of the camera and, you know, the normal things tech reviewers do. And in one of the scenes, he wanted to show the stabilization of the camera. So he hopped in a Lamborghini and began to drive. It turns out he was driving in a kid's zone. But just driving is no crime. The problem only arose when eagle-eyed viewers noticed that he was driving about 60 miles per hour over the speed limit. He was driving at 96 miles per hour in a 35 mile per hour zone. So as the internet does, they took him to the town square on Twitter or X and berated him.
Oh, no, not the beast! Not the beast! Ah!
And Marques, whether he likes it or not, is a role model to many people and should know better. And this was coming off the back of him launching a super expensive wallpaper app just the month prior. So he quickly deleted that segment of the video and issued an apology. So at least he realized his faults and tried to do better. But not everyone is that wise, especially the next person on my list. Now let's move on to the next part of our 3-course recap meal, the first part of our main dish. This person we are going to be talking about is an egotistic, narcissistic person who thrives off terrorizing people with his provocative and disruptive behavior during his travels. We are moving away from an internet sweetheart to one of the black sheep of the internet, and this is no other than evil villain Johnny Somali.
Oh, black. Whoa. Yo, hey, whoa. What's up, nigga?
This guy is terrible. His whole content and persona is based around being edgy and oftentimes offensive.
Yo, what's up? I'm so sorry.
For example, in January 2023, this guy visited Japan. And unlike any other person who would just go around and enjoy the scenery, enjoy their culture, eat their food, and have a good time, this guy took an alternate route. A route that only the worst people in the world would even think about. This guy decided to go around and reference one of the worst things that has ever happened in Japan history. I'm talking about the horrific bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. This guy was going around talking about it and telling these locals that he was going to bomb all of them. Yeah, so he's terrible. But that is not the worst thing he did. I will get to that in a bit. Normally, these crazy streamers are arrested and hit with a fine and move back to America when things cool down. And this includes Johnny Somali. But this time, it was different. In November 2024, the bill finally came due. Following an incident in South Korea where he desecrated a monument, among multiple violations including drug use and anti-terrorism laws, the South Korean government imposed a travel ban on him. So this time, after his crimes, he couldn't run away back home to America. And according to some legal experts, this guy could be facing up to 10 years imprisonment if he's found guilty of the charges he's being accused of. That is so crazy to even begin to think about. Potentially going to jail for 10 years for something you could have avoided is crazy. So what was this final diabolical deed in our antagonist's evil rampage. So this guy went to a statue which honors the victims of wartime sexual slavery in South Korea. So you can already see the significance of this statue to the South Korean people. And the best thing that this guy decided he could do was to kiss and dance on this statue. Sit with that for a while. He decided to kiss and dance on the statue, which was honoring victims of such a heinous act. Yes, and you can make a case for him that, well, maybe he was ignorant. He did not know what that meant to the Korean people. After all, he's American, he's not South Korean. But you'd be wrong, because a few hours after he made that stream, he made another video telling people that he knew exactly what he did and he would do it again if given the chance. Yeah, so it's either this guy has a death wish or has some underlying mental issues. Either way, the police came for him, not just for that, but for the other terrible things he was doing during his stream in that city. And as we speak, he's currently facing a long time behind bars. Speaking of people facing jail time, let's move on to our second dish, which has the most sauce I have ever seen in life. In life in general. Because once the story hit the internet, it's changed the entire mindset of people in relationships. And this is none other than the story which came from the until now unexplored region of Africa known as Equatorial Guinea. And by that I mean that is the biggest story I've heard from that country in forever, and that's the only thing I know about them now. So please don't cook me in the comments. So as many of you already know, I'm talking about Baltasar Egonga. What's her name?
Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
This man was a former official in Equatorial Guinea's government, but is currently serving as the head and face of infidelity in the entire world. But infidelity is not a crime. If that was just the case, I don't think we would be discussing him today. It's more than that, it's something much worse. Before this man was all over the internet and on our timelines, he was being investigated for corruption. And after the things they found, I know he wished they found documents of wire fraud or even paying people to assassinate a political rival or Tupac. They raided this man's house and his offices for evidence that he was engaged in some kind of corruption in government. And what they found was corrupt, alright. They found that this man was not just potentially corrupt, but also corrupted. If you get my drift. This man was holding over 400 copies of intimate moments with the wives of his co-workers, his pastors, and several other close people. But the only reason why I feel for him is I think he may have got the idea of marriage wrong. Maybe when he was exchanging his vows, he thought it was a group thing, so if you are married, you could also involve yourself with other married people's wives. Oh my god, it was terrible. So he's currently battling the law and under investigation about abuse of power. And if he's found guilty, he could face a long, hard time behind bars. I'm sure you're pretty full by now, so I'm going to bring in the desserts. A little dessert of generational rap beef with a sprinkle of lawsuits. Even if you've been living under a rock, you would have still heard about the Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef. These two industry giants absolutely went at each other, hurling multiple insults, which ultimately resulted in one of the most iconic beefs in the history of all beefs. And 6 months after this beef started, the dust has still not settled. And I don't even need to remind you, but in the biggest song that came from this rap battle, in Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar, he was accusing Drake of doing some very horrendous things to children. He deified the Sith god, ended the rap beef, danced on his grave, and this song went on to become one of the biggest songs of 2024. This song crushed every record imaginable, becoming Kendrick's biggest song ever. But while Kendrick was on his victory lap enjoying his win, Drake was posting a series of cryptic messages, one of which was this video.
Y'all put it in the front page, back page, middle page, wherever, headliners, column 1 or 2, we will win game 2. We will win game 2.
And at the point, a lot of people thought Drake meant he was going to reignite the beef, but in light of recent events, I don't think that was what he meant. He said he was going to win the second round, but he didn't say he was going to do it in a rap beef. Apparently, he means he's going to win it in court. Because why did Drake just sue his and Kendrick Lamar's record label UMG? He's alleging that the label engaged in deceptive practices to boost the popularity of Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar. This petition alleges that UMG used bots and pay-to-play schemes to manipulate streaming numbers, thereby violating the Federal Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, also known as RICO. Essentially, what Drake is accusing his label of is acting like a criminal organization which colluded with streaming platforms to unfairly boost Kendrick Lamar's song and tarnish Drake's image, and led to him losing some business deals and endorsements. But at the moment, UMG has denied all these accusations, and we are yet to see where this potential lawsuit leads to in the next few months or years, however long this is going to take. So if nothing major hits as I'm recording this, those were some of the biggest news that shaped our reality in November 2024. They didn't really shape our reality. I don't really think internet discourse shaped our reality, but it just shaped the conversations we were having. Yes. Okay, so thank you for watching to the end. Please remember to like the video if you enjoyed, because it really helps my channel out and also helps YouTube recommend and share my videos with more people. And I also want to thank you for not ridiculing my headpiece. Also subscribe and turn post notifications on to be notified when I post another video in the near future. So thank you, take care, and I'll see you another time. Bye.